Well, hello, everyone. This is Lynn Hamilton, your lead instructor over here at Samson Properties, to bring you the next edition of Business Skill Builders. And in this conversation, we are going to chat about the best one-liners. So, what you do say does matter. So, by this point, hopefully, you've gone through Jumpstart sessions 1, 2, 3, and 4. You've got the foundation starting to build out. Now it's time to start talking to people, but most agents end up saying the wrong thing and then can't backpedal out of it. So we're going to take a deep dive into some of the best. There is a handout that's attached to it on the other link. So make sure you've gotten that as well so that you can have it at the ready and as a resource for you. So let's dive in. All right. So knowing what to say is going to be critical because you can say the wrong thing and really get yourself backpedaled. So here's some general rules of thumb. First off, understand that real estate is the numbers game. Every time you ask somebody, are you ready to buy or sell? They're not going to tell you yes. In fact, that's probably one of the worst things that you can say is, so you ready to buy or sell? And the next time you talk to them, so are you ready to buy or sell? And the next time you talk to them, so are you ready to buy or sell? Because at that point, they're going to block you. They don't want to hear it anymore. And you're wondering why they're not responding. So let's take another approach. You want to be able to learn to say less to more people. It's filling the funnel of potential buyers or sellers as you're developing out your business. I'm going to remind you here, I don't care how cute your picture is. I don't care how cute your postcard is. I don't care how cute your business card is. And I don't care how cute your newsletter is. Getting that information or being asked, so you ready to buy or sell, is not going to convert them into buying or selling. People will buy or sell when the home no longer meets their needs and they need to make a decision as to what direction they need to go next. It doesn't make any difference what the world is doing, the economy is doing, the interest rates are doing. Bottom line, when the home no longer meets their needs is when they will need to turn to a real estate expert. Hopefully, that is you. Now, most people, truth be told, know probably 5 or 10 people that at one point in time had a real estate license, but are no longer in the business. And it is part of your job as a real estate expert here to stay a gentle touch point with them. It reminds them that you are still in business, you are still there for them, you are still there with information of value. Therefore, when that day comes that the home no longer meets their needs, they think of you and know that you're still in business. Okay. I use the analogy of McDonald's. Pick a company, any company. McDonald's still advertises, but they've been around forever. Why? Because they want to be top of mind when the time comes that you are either thirsty, need something to drink, need a quick break off the freeway because you've been sitting on it for 2 hours because the traffic's backed up, or if you're traveling with the dog needs a break. Most McDonald's are located on an on ramp or off ramp, strategically placed into busy intersections that people can get in and out of easy. This is why they advertise all throughout the day, because when that time comes, they want to be top of mind because there are more than one option for you to turn into. There's 2 or 3 others right there, right next to them. So they advertise, they market so that you remember them when the time comes that you need them. Gang, that is marketing 101. We're not in pushy sales. We can't go out to the parking lot and find a warm body and convince them they need to buy or sell. That's sales and that's pushy. Our job is to be there with a gentle reminder that we have resources for them and that when that day comes, you are top of mind. Okay. We've also learned through the years of studying marketing is most new contacts need to hear from you 5, 8 to 12 times on a slow, steady drip right away before it embeds and sinks in that you're the go-to source. Now, here's the problem. Most agents stop any type of follow-up after 2 or 3, maybe 4 times. Well, I didn't hear back from them. They're ghosting me. I guess they weren't serious. There's the gap. Their need is not immediate. You are assuming it is. No, it's probably not. So there's where the gap comes. This is a process, not an event. If they say no, they're not ready to buy or sell right now. No does not mean no forever. No means no, not right now. You need to remember that. I want you to understand that you need to work with the willing, the ready, the willing, and the able. The ready, yeah, I'm ready to. I'm willing to, because it's going to take some work. It's got to have some stuff happen. And the able, yes, I'm able to get a loan. Yes, I'm able to qualify. Yes, I'm ready, willing, and able. So often I will hear agents say, well, I've got 6 potential buyers. 3 are just coming out of their bankruptcy. 2 have a FICO score of 500 or below. 1 just lost his job. I'm sorry. Those are not ready, willing, and able buyers. You have an inquiry for down the road, not right now. So here's the saying that goes with that. Some will, some won't. So what? Next. You can't resurrect someone who's just filed bankruptcy and has just quit their job. You did not make that mess. They did. And until they're ready to get it together, then you can kind of help them with the getting it together part, but it's not overnight. It's a couple months down the road. So you're looking for the ready, willing, and able, but you want to keep the other ones on the back burner with information that shows that you are caring, you have information of value, and you're there when they are ready, willing, and able. All right. You want to make sure that you are choosing positive words. So here's a couple of recommendations and suggestions. A great way to say something or to ask is, would you be open to discussing the pros and cons of rent versus buy? Would you be open to discussing whatever it is? Another great one is, I know you are considering buying your first home in the next, well, I don't know, 3, 6, 9, 12 months. I know. It's a positive affirmation, and it confirms that there's something that you know. The mission statement that we introduced to you in our Jumpstart session 1 is your mission. You would say it, my mission is to help you protect and maintain the value of your greatest asset, which is your home. With that, I have a series or a library of free reports, newsletters, resources to help you do just that. Because you know what? Someday down the road, you are going to need or want to sell. And part of my job is to help you make sure that things are in as good a shape as possible. So when you're ready, not a bunch of deferred maintenance that hasn't been done. All right. So that mission statement is going to give you leverage for communication, conversation, for reports, newsletters, blog, you name it, you got it. It opens the floodgates. Now, the other tagline that we give you in Jumpstart Session 1 is, when your home no longer meets your needs. I'm here to bring you up to speed on the current market conditions. When your home no longer meets your needs, I'm here to help guide you in the right direction. When your home no longer meets your needs, I'm here to provide the resources and the information you need. Though that mission statement and that tagline, gang, hands down, no holds barred, are the best that you as an agent could run with. You should have it be able to roll off your tongue just as comfortably as you say, hey, good morning, how's it going? Hey, did you notice it's snowing outside? Whatever the conversation is, that mission statement and that tagline, worth its weight in gold. All right, Let's move on to another topic. What you say matters. And here's the best one-liner. If you are needing to email somebody, a great subject line is thank you or I'm sorry. Now, I can't believe I got to say this, but I'm going to because I see it more often than I'd like to. Do not write the entire message or the entire question into the subject line. I'm just saying it goes into the body of the text or the email, not in the subject line. The subject line, if you're not using thank you or I'm sorry, needs to be 7 words or less, hitting directly to the point or the question regarding boom, and be very, very specific with it. If you are going to change the topic of an email chain that's going back and forth, start a new email chain. I should not be getting emails in that says 123 Cardinal Way, well report, but the body of the email is talking about the termite report. No, keep the subject line current with the content of the email. Business 101. There you go. All right. Email or conversation closing statements that are powerful. What you say does matter. And we teach you this one as well, because you're getting it now, but you'll get it next because your next step in your learning trails is mastering your buyer and seller consultations. At the end of that conversation, you will say, did I miss anything? Does this make sense? Or what is our next step? If you're able to become what is called as next step obsessed, and how that plays out is your next step is this, my next step is this, then your next step is this, and my next step is this. And as you start emailing back and forth, it's like, okay, great. Your next step, subject line, next step. Your next step, this needs to be done. My next step, this needs to be done. When you do that, you tuck your client up under your arm and you're able to walk hand in hand with them through the process of the transaction. If not, they're running amok and running all over the place, bouncing around like a pinball game. And you're wondering why you can't control them and yank their feet back to the ground. Start from the beginning. Okay, great. I believe that we are going to work well together. I'm excited to help you with this. Our next steps are these. I need your autograph or your authorization on this form, which is the buyer broker agreement, basically hiring me to serve as your agent to start the search. Your next step then is we need to have you talk to a lender, and I've got a couple here for reference for you. I'm happy to do an introduction if you want me to. But your next step is to talk to the lender and find out what your purchasing power is. Not what you're qualified for. What is your purchasing power and what are you comfortable at? Because they may qualify for here, but because of life, they're qualified for this price point. I'm okay with that. I want to know that as their agent to guide them through the process. So once I know what your purchasing power is, then my next step is to start looking in the areas that you specified, off the criteria that you specified, to see what's available in that price point range. There you go. Those are great email and conversation closing statements. One of the tools that we've also brought to our Samson agents here is, and again, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. This I learned from Joe Stump in the Buy Referral Only training coaching program. Once you have finished a conversation consultation with the buyer or the seller, you will do a follow-up email. And that whole email is available for you. And in fact, I'll put it in this link in case you need it. But it starts with, when we met, this is what I heard you say was important to you. Bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. You got a couple of other sentences in there. And then it's, how did I do? Did I get it? Did I miss anything? Gang, this is why in the buyer and seller consultation, we introduce the fact that there are DISC personality styles. There are 3 learning styles, which is why it is important that you are visual, kinesthetic, and auditory with the client because you don't know what they are. We're all, frankly, we're all a mix of all of the above. But when it's the D, the I, the S, the C, and you send them the email that says, when we spoke, I listened carefully to what you had to say. This is what my takeaway was. Blah, 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 blah. Did I get it right? Did I miss anything? What that does is it hits the D, the S's, and the C's to make sure that they're not being taken advantage of. They don't want their time wasted, especially the D's. And the I's are going, wow, you're really, on point here. If they by chance did miss something, mentioning something that was important to them, it opens the door for them to come back and tell you what that was, which is exactly what you want. Because when you find out what their purchasing power is and you start looking at what's available on the market, you're able to go bullseye, not just, well, you said you wanted an acre, but you didn't tell me how you were wanting to use it because I didn't know to ask. I teach you that in buyer and seller consultations. But now you're able to really go for that bullseye. Okay. There are other components that definitely pave the way for having the right thing and the best conversation one-liner, and what you say does matter. Here is one that I love because you don't want to come across as sounding salesy. One of the statements that you can make is, or questions is, besides, do you still love your house? Does it still meet your needs? If you could change, I'm just doing a survey. If you could change one thing about the house that you are currently in, what would it be? They're going to respond. Now you've got something to continue a conversation with. Or out of a fun whim, you run a search within a 5-10 mile radius of where they're currently living. Let's say they wanted a 2-car garage because they only have a 1. You find a similar property with the 2-car garage and you email it to them. Maybe it's a week later, maybe it's 10 days later. But you say, I remember when I asked my key question of what is the one thing about your house that you would change, and you said 2-car garage. I was searching the MLS the other day for somebody else, and I came across this one and thought of you. They're out there and they're available. If you're serious, let me know. Again, a gentle, warm conversation. Another great conversation to have is if you ever wanted to know what homes around this area are selling for, I'd be happy to run a search for you. There you go. If you are curious as to what your home value is or estimation of value, I can set you up on a search that'll provide it monthly or quarterly. I'm happy to do that for you. Oh, and by the way, if you ever needed a contractor or a recommendation to a contractor or lender, I've got a roster. Let me know if you need anything or need a recommendation for anyone. That we cover in Jumpstart Session 3 when we talk about building out your database. Another one-liner, a great place to start, is the curiosity question. I'm just curious. Have you ever noticed whatever it is? I'm just curious. Or you become the resource for information as well. All right. We've talked about the does your home still meet your needs? If they say, well, yes, it does, you say, great. I'm just curious as to whether or not you're planning on any makeovers, remodeling, painting, anything like that in the next, I don't know, year or so. They're going to tell you. It's open the conversation. If they say, does your home still meet your needs? And they go, well, no, really, it doesn't. Wow. Okay. So tell me one thing about your current home that doesn't meet your needs anymore. Or what would the next home that you purchase, what would it need to have that this one doesn't? Those are all great conversation starter questions. When you are reaching out to someone who you have met through a group or organization or kids sports or whatever, a great opening line is, we are connected through, boom, we are connected through our kids sports. We are connected through the ballet class. We are connected through this organization or that organization. Or I met you at this event, and you be specific. Because again, their brain is looking at you going, I'm not sure who you are, and they're embarrassed to say anything. But when you start it with, I don't know if you remember, we met at bum, 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 bum. Oh, now they're going to remember, or they're going to pretend they did. They do remember. Either way, it's a great one. Following up with cold inquiries. Now, we always assume that they're hot leads. No, they're not. Get over it. So a great way to handle that is if somebody inquires or it gives you a cold inquiry, what can I help you with, or what information can I help you with today? What research have you done? You now have some talking points, a question that you can casually ask to start getting information back to customize the conversation from there. If they are ghosting you, here's a couple of quick things to remember. You can ask are you serious when you said da 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 da? Or were you just kidding? They'll respond. This is a great one. Again, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Bob from the Bob and Ronna team shared this with me, and I went, oh, I like this. I'm going to share it. They gave me permission. I'm working on purging my roster. I don't want to bother you. And since I haven't heard back from you or seen a response, I'm wondering, do you want me to purge you off my roster? Now, most people don't like the word purge. So they may, oh, I'm so sorry. I stubbed my toe. I broke a fingernail. My cat got sick. Yeah, no, I'd really like to keep this information. There you go. You woke them up and got them going. Another way to say it is I'm reviewing my contact list right now of who's getting my market stats and market update. I don't want to, blog up, backlog up your email, but are you finding these are still helpful? Can I get you anything else? Can we adjust? You're asking a question. Oftentimes they'll respond. Or I'm updating my records and I don't want to clutter up your inbox. Are you still interested in getting the real estate update information? Now you know. Now you know. Now, I'm going to throw this one out as well. They may be ghosting you, but you don't ghost them. When 85 to 90% of clients, homeowners have said they would use the same agent again if they ever heard from them again, don't be a secret agent. Don't ghost your potential future clients and then cry when they go and use somebody else. I'm just saying. All right. The last couple of things I want to hit with you is when you send out, let's say, the newsletter. I know that the company talks about the benefit of mailing out that beautiful 4-page newsletter. But what I heard when I was boots on the ground was a lot of agents saying they either didn't have the 200 or they couldn't afford the 150 per to have them mailed out. That's $350 a month. I said, okay, I went to our marketing department and said, okay, we need a plan B for those agents that are building up to that level, but that aren't at that level yet. So that is why we created the grab and go 1-page back-to-back grab and go newsletter. So now you have a choice. If your budget and your data count are not able to send out 200 a month every month, plan B is the 1-page newsletter. Yes, you can still mail those out if you want. You need to have them done. That can't go through the print center at this point in time. Now, the other option is you can email them. But again, the concern came up is if people are scrolling through, they are scrolling through and may delete you while they're sitting at a stoplight. Here's how you overcome that. After sending information, you do a follow-up. Now, you also remember the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have 5 contacts a day, 4 text messages, 3 emails, 2 CMAs, and adding 1 to your database. So let's talk about the 5, 4, 3. Those gentle little touch points like McDonald's advertising, reminding them that you're still in business. You send them the email. You send it by email. Then you follow up with either a voice message while they're at work and you know they can't pick up their phone, or a text message. I just emailed you over the newsletter. There was a great article in there and I thought of you. You're bringing it back to their attention. They're going to go get it. Even if they swiped and hit delete, they're going to go back and find it. Did you have a chance to look at the article on Boom Boom Boom? What caught your attention? What did you like best? What did you like least? Of the 4 articles in the newsletter, what was your favorite? What was your least favorite? There you go. All right, my friends. In closing, I've got about a minute here to wrap this down. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Jamie Miller, who was a body language and neurolinguistic specialist, said, one of the great taglines you can use is, I could be wrong. Because whatever you say after that, they're thinking, no, you weren't. But the I could be wrong, why does it make sense that you're still paying rent when you're in a position that you could buy? I could be wrong, but you want to explore that. I could be wrong. There you go. The last one is I believe. I believe is a powerful statement, and here is a great way to use it in the closing. We teach you something very similar in the buyer and seller consultation closing is, I believe we could work well together. I believe I can help you reach your goals. Jot that one down. When you get the printout, highlight it and make sure that you're incorporating that in as well. In closing, here is the CARE checklist. CARE. CARE, C stands for connect. You just wanted to connect with them. A is ask. Ask them a question. R is provide them a resource. And then E is exit with let me know if you'd rather receive the update by email or by mail. Exit with let me know and give them an option. All right, my friends, that wraps up this session of the best one-liners, and what you say does matter. I don't care what you know. I want to know what you're doing with what you know. With that, listen to this as often as you need to. Make sure that you give it a thumbs up. A comment in the comment section is great. And subscribe so you'll be notified when next week's session also gets posted and up and available for you. So with that, my friends, go be wonderful, go be awesome, and I'll see you in our next class. Bye for now.